I think that, yeah, I've heard nothing from Mr Baker that would persuade me otherwise. I drove down to London this morning, breaking the speed limit at 70 miles an hour. I found that I would suggest 10, 15, 20% of the people in the lane 3, or the fast lane as it's colloquially known, were probably doing 85, 90 miles an hour.
Well, obviously we don't advise people to break the law.
Of course not. No, exactly. And I would suggest that if the roads were unlimited with their speed, then that would be a good thing for me, because you need to understand that people are sensible, you know, if the conditions allow. But one thing that he conveniently omitted was that he conflated speed with the tragedy of so many people losing their lives. But what he didn't do, he should have actually said, and how many deaths were responsible because of excess speed on the motorway. I've just done a simple search from Autocar, which is a magazine, and 85 people lost their lives on the motorways back in 2018. Only 85. Now, how many of those were because of going too quickly? So that was a convenient red herring for him.
They're the safest form of transport, aren't they? Of road transport.
I mean, the only valid point he made, from my perspective, is that the emissions go up, but that's the only valid point.
But the emissions may go up, but then they're not in a location of a city centre. So if you imagine you go somewhere else, you take a different route, an internal city route where lots of people live, then you'll be stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Your emissions are probably higher, and you're also surrounded about by people. So, I don't know, motorways are probably the best way to avoid polluting the local environment.
Yeah.
We've had speed limits, apparently, since 1861, when the first one was introduced, and that was 10 miles an hour. Man with a red flag walking in front before that. I don't like the idea of everybody having completely carte blanche on the motorway. It's all very well to say cars are safer, etc., but not all motorists are safer, and I am not in favour of just letting rip. The German autobahns are built to a higher standard, and it's no good saying that the German cars are better, etc. It's all about the drivers. And what about the middle lane hoggers? And some of our motorways are... You know, they are frightening places to be when you've got people thundering past at 90, 100 miles, people like Danny trying to get to London. So I'm perfectly happy to have the motorway speed limit raised. For example, you're 3 o'clock in the morning, you're on the motorway, you're the only person on the motorway. How absurd to have to go at 70 miles an hour.
But they have variable speed limits on motorways anyway, but then it seems to vary the wrong way. When there's nobody on it, they suddenly pop in a camera and it suddenly goes from 40 to 30.
I know.
Like, they do that. There's one stretch on the M1 where you go along and you're happily going at 70, then it brings it down to 50.
Yeah.
And then suddenly...
Well, that's to catch you out and make money.
It goes 40, and just like it's definitely there.
It's to make money by catching you out.
It feels like it is.
I wasn't aware that the autobahns were superior in build quality.
Yeah, apparently they are much superior. And it's a bigger country too, so they've got more great big straight sections.
No, I know, but the motorways are the same size. A bigger country, yes, but the lanes, I'm sure,
are
the same size. Well, only from what I saw on the telly, they seem to be the width of a car.
America, it takes it to the other extreme. They have huge, great big highways with nobody on them, travelling thousands of miles, and they have this ludicrously low speed limit.
Yeah.
But I am all in favour of getting... I mean, whoever thought of smart motorways must be shot. I mean, it's absurd.
Well, they're hiding.
Not smart.
They're hiding at London Highways or somewhere around there. What do they call themselves? Highways England now?
Highways Agency.
Because they keep changing the name. The last time they spent millions rebranding the naming of it, but it looked exactly the same. I don't know why they didn't.
If I could drive safely at 100 miles an hour...
Can you?
Permitting. Yeah, of course you can in modern cars.
But not everybody can.
No, I know, but you have to...
drivers.
No, I know, but you'd have to take into account the traffic you're about to overtake. If they're middle lane hoggers, then obviously you wouldn't scream past at 100 miles an hour. You know, you have to be aware of your surroundings.
But you say that, but there are a lot of people who are tailgates, so they're pretty stupid. There's a lot of bad driving out there. And I think with the lack of lane discipline, even now, where people... this is supposed to be the slow lane, and you've got somebody hogging the middle lane. Then I think in Germany they've got like 4 or 5 lanes, whereas we've only got 3, then there's one that they've turned into a motorway lane that should really be a hard shoulder.
That's a good point.
Our friendly smart motorway.
I wouldn't like to do 120 past someone on a 3-lane motorway, no.
Exactly.